was born and raised here in New Zealand on South Island. Wherever you look, mountains rise up against the sky. North Island is very much the same. The two islands pretty well make up New Zealand. Many years ago, my father built our family home here in the Mackenzie country, up in the grassy highlands of South Island. And it was here that he began to raise sheep. Sheep ranching hasn't changed much since then. Each summer, we used to let the sheep wander free in the mountains, just as ranchers still do. The sheep graze wherever they can find vegetation. At the end of summer, we bring them down out of the mountains to the ranch. Actually, we call it the station. When I was a boy, I always enjoyed going with my father and our dogs into the mountains for the autumn roundup, or muster. Today, just as then, the work is long and hard, and the steep slopes and crowded trails make it dangerous as well. But the sheep have to be brought down to the lower, warmer ground so they won't be buried in the winter snow. It was during these musters that I truly learned to appreciate the value of our dogs. It was clear that they were just as important as the men. And so I grew up with a special fondness for our sheepdogs. Perhaps that's the reason I became a trainer. We New Zealanders treat our sheepdogs with great respect, and for good reason. After all, sheep farming is the largest industry in our country. Think of New Zealand, you think of wool and mutton. A good part of the entire world's production comes from here. Some ranchers own as many as 20,000 sheep. Without the dogs in these mountains, the job would be almost impossible. Most of the dogs I work with are bred from border collies. Kelpies is what we call them. They make excellent herding dogs. They're so easy to train. You'll usually see a dog show an instinct to run after the sheep when it's about 6 to 10 months old. But before we can let a dog work, it has to mature a bit. A dog has to develop enough strength and speed to keep moving around the flock. Good herding requires that. Sheep in tight bunches are easier to control. When I'm training a dog like Blackie here, I give him affection as well as discipline. The work takes a great deal of patience from both of us. The dog has to learn basic obedience first. I teach him to respond to whistles, to voice commands and hand signals. I go over them again and again. It takes time, but gradually a dog learns when to move right or left. When he's ready, I'll teach Blackie to gather a flock. he'll learn to move it toward his master or move it away on command. I'm teaching Blackie to be a strong-eyed dog. A strong eye stares at the sheep very intensely. This forces them to move in a certain direction, but without frightening them. If they're frightened, they might stampede. Every dog is trained for a specific job. The dogs that are taught to keep the flock together are called huntaways. They go after any sheep that gets separated from the others. Sometimes a sheep becomes weighed down by its own wool. The huntaway goes to the rescue. At shearing time, the sheep enter the pen in a single file. Sometimes they'll jam together in the narrow passageway. That's when another type of dog goes to work, the backer. Soon the line is moving again. A dog's training is never completed until I put him to the test. This is a critical moment for both Blackie and me. We've been working closely together for the past 6 months, but now he has to show me what he can do on his own. He only needs a few directions from me. Good. Blackie's doing an excellent job. When Blackie has brought the sheep close enough, I take over. It looks as though Blackie and I have both passed the test. Blackie will soon be at work helping to tend the flocks. We New Zealanders need dogs like Blackie to help us herd the more than 60 million sheep that wander over nearly half of our 2 islands. I can't imagine our islands without sheep or without the sheepdogs of New Zealand.